Broadcasting from Baltimore, Maryland, this is 5x3 Radio, where strength is for everyone. I'm your host, Emily Sokolinski, owner of 5x3 Training, a strength and conditioning gym in Baltimore, along with my co-host, Rebecca Fishburne, founder of Cornerstone Strength Maryland. Each week, Rebecca and I will discuss the ins and outs of strength training, why there is a no one-size-fits-all approach, and why strength is so important in our daily lives. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Now, on with the show. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 5x3 Training. Rebecca and I are here on this very dreary Wednesday afternoon. It's been raining for 3 days nonstop.
At least, yeah. It feels like much longer.
Everybody's dragging ass at the gym.
Sick of being soggy.
Everybody is dragging ass. Monday, I heard nothing but my joints ache and this hurts, and I don't think I can do this today. And I'm like, just squat and go then. Bench and leave. It's one of those days. One of those 3 days. Yeah. 3 days of nonstop rain. We saw the sun for about 5 seconds this morning, and then it decided to go back in. So we are moving on to part 3 of our 4-part series on finding your why. About 2 weeks ago or so, we spoke about, kind of why would you want to start a program, a strength training program, a running program? What is it really that you're interested in? Being realistic with yourself about possibly your goals or your motivation for starting something. And then our second part 2 was on, being realistic now, right? Taking action. You've got your why, taking action. Now you have to kind of move forward on that intention. Exactly. And being realistic with what you can do, not saying I got, 6 days a week, I'm going to be at the gym. And then you end up going once that month because that happens so often. So, being realistic with what you can handle. And it's always better to start slow and build from there. So, twice a week, being consistent with that twice a week, and then building off of that. Part 3, we'd like to get into, you're into a program now. You've been doing this for a few months, maybe it's just been 2 months, maybe it's been longer than that. And things are starting to shift, right? Maybe you're having a few little aches here and there, shoulder, elbow, knee. Training's going well, but things are maybe getting heavier. And you're not quite sure if maybe your form needs to be looked at, or maybe your programming needs to be tweaked or looked at. This is a time to maybe think about a coach. What do you say, Rebecca? Is that about?
Yeah. Well, but also, there's also, I think, plenty of people who like to start with the
coach. There you go. There's that too.
Yeah. So, basically, why would you, at any point in your lifting,
right,
turn to a coach either to get started or help you continue or help you improve, as opposed to go it alone? There's plenty of people who pick up the book, read it, and then say, okay, I've got it. I'm off to the gym. And
I think a lot of people who don't necessarily start with a coach right away, it may be, money. It might be because, they're like funds. It's, hiring a coach is an investment. It's an investment in your health but it's an investment all the same. So maybe starting off, without someone just because, just want to get to the gym. I just want to get to the gym and do something, right? Mm-hmm. And this program looks good. But for some people, right, hiring a coach in the beginning because they want to start this program, but they want to start it right.
Yeah. And I think the people that I work with that generally take their first step is hiring a coach, right? Like, I've worked with plenty of people who start with a coach, plenty of people who pull a coach in later on.
Right.
And the difference seems to be the degree of familiarity that the individual has with barbells prior to getting started.
Sure.
Right. Like the starting strength literature information is reaching a wider audience. So there are people who, come across Mark Rippetoe because they're always in the gym, and that's sort of been their life for the past 20, 30 years since they were on their high school football team or whatever. And then there's also plenty of people these days who are getting started, particularly women or masters lifters, older lifters, who for whom the strength training, writing, that kind of gets at independence, longevity, the importance of maintaining muscle mass and bone density really
Mm-hmm.
resonates with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they want that for themselves as they age. They want to be able to age actively and age well.
Yep.
And they've bought into the notion, right? They've bought into the idea that this is what they need to do. This is like the silver bullet or whatever, but they're not comfortable or familiar or have any prior experience with
Mm-hmm.
barbells.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably have been in the gym waters enough to have heard some things about, people always running around saying, oh, you're going to hurt your back or you're going to hurt your knees if you squat or if you deadlift. So a lot of people that want to get started building strength for those health and longevity reasons, but have a little bit of fear of getting injured. Those people usually start with a coach,
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And then we get young and older alike. I mean, it's really not, just older lifters, who are nervous about getting started
Oh
with
yeah.
this training. I've got definitely people in their 30s, people in their 40s who, have possibly done CrossFit in the past. A lot of my clients who come from CrossFit, they're very concerned about training and not injuring themselves because they have injured themselves, right? And
Right.
that's one thing that's why they were turned off from CrossFit. And CrossFit is a great way of getting people into the door. I mean, it's nowadays it's kind of like CrossFit's like just there, right? It used to be really big. And now it's like, okay, everybody has a CrossFit gym. There's always a CrossFit box somewhere. So now it's not so much that people steer towards CrossFit. They kind of go, oh yeah, that's CrossFit. I don't want to do that. I want to do just the strength training. And then many people who start with CrossFit because it's there and they've heard it's a good exercise program, find that they really enjoy the strength training part more and the fact that they want to learn correct form. And they never really got that from their gym. Now, not all gyms are different. I mean, not all gyms are alike. CrossFit gyms are alike. So some are better than others about technique and programming, right? But that's the big concern with them coming to us. And you're right, the older lifters, it's more of like they don't want to injure themselves. Absolutely. Because they have plenty of people in their ear already telling
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
they can't do this, don't do this, never do this. And those words, never, can't, don't, it messes
Well,
people up.
people, but also sometimes, unfortunately, it's like an orthopedic
Oh yeah.
doctor or something. Yeah.
Or it can be a
Yeah.
personal trainer. It
Yeah.
could be another
Yeah.
trainer,
Yeah.
as one of my newer clients who just started with us. She's the mother of one of our younger clients, and he wanted her to come and visit the gym, and she was going to a gym already, and she's 60 and great shape. Like the minute she walked in, you could tell, like this woman, knew how to move. But she told me she said, I don't squat, and I said, well, what do you mean you don't squat? She said, I can't. I said, yes, you can. She's like, no, I was told I can only go this far because my knees are bad and I shouldn't, I just can't. So what happened within 5 minutes, I had her down, squatting. Now I didn't want to freak her out because when I had her try to get into position and, put her palms together and shove her knees out, she wouldn't go down. So I kept going lower, lower. And finally, when she got she fell backwards, and I knew it wasn't that she was weak. I just knew it was because she wasn't familiar with that position because someone had drilled into her for so long. You can't do this. You shouldn't do this. You will never be able to do this.
Mm.
And within the next 2 minutes, I threw a box underneath of her and said, okay, let me see your squat. And she grabbed the 45-pound bar and, did a beautiful high bar set of squats with the high bar, with the barbell. So
Yeah.
then she said within probably an hour of her being there, she went through a couple different lifts. She said, okay, how do I sign up? And I wasn't expecting that. She was just dropping in. I was just, showing her I'm like, this woman works out. She wants to come and see the gym. That's cool. But she told me the next time she came in, she said, it was because you showed me that I could do that because I had
Yeah.
this person for 20 years. I haven't squatted like that. I'm like, 20 years. That means you were 40 when you were told, I don't know if she was exaggerating or what, but it was like someone locked and got into her head that she couldn't do that. And there was no way that she was going to do that. So sometimes, and this might go into what to look for when you're hiring a coach. You know, I would say definitely the difference between a trainer and a coach. That's the one thing. And especially if you're going to do starting strength or you're going to do any kind of strength training program, find someone who is legitimately a coach and teaching people how to squat, right? Legitimately teaching people how to squat, because this personal trainer at I will not name the gym, you know, basically told her, you should never, ever, and you can't, and you won't. So those words, can't, won't, and never. So then on Monday, I said, okay, I said, now show me what you could do that you couldn't do on day one. And she put her palms together and she flopped down to the bottom of the squat, got below parallel and shoved her knees out. And there she was. And it was only because on that first day, her brain was like trying to rewire itself to talk to her body. So when you're hiring somebody, when you're looking to hire a coach, and for many different reasons, you know, make sure you're looking to find someone who legitimately coaches people, coaches older people if you're older, coaches a gamut of, you know, a wide range of individuals, because that's important, right? I think I definitely want to kind of put that out there, you know, and we'll go into other reasons to why to hire a coach, but certainly make sure that you're looking for someone who does, you know, who does coach a number of different people, different bodies, different ages, different genders. I mean, all that, because that's someone that's someone who's going to legitimately look at you as an individual and really see you and how you move, and then teach you, you know, to go from there, and won't use the words never, can, won't.
Yeah. So, I mean, like a couple things that you hit on there, like you want somebody who's paying attention to form.
Yeah.
You want someone who's going to teach
Who
you
understands form, who understands
right.
form. I mean, this person didn't understand form. Obviously, the woman was,
Yeah.
I said to her, I said, you're just bending your knees. And she laughed. I said, anybody can bend their knees. I can bend my knees, and my knees hurt me if I bend like that. Toes pointed forward, knees were coming in. I said, my knees hurt just watching you. So,
yeah.
sorry.
So
Yeah.
somebody who's going to pay attention to form and
Yes.
have an eye for that, an eye for human movement, as
Yes.
opposed to kind of just like zone out and bebop to whatever music is going on. I see plenty of that. But also
Right.
the big thing that you're talking about is somebody who's going to
Yes.
empower the
Yes.
individual,
Yes.
help show them what their body is capable of doing, and that might be different for different people, and it might be different than what you imagine or envision or hope. Like you know, a trainer who's paying attention, or a coach who's paying attention to how your particular body moves might see some things that are different than what you're hoping for.
Right.
Like a lot of
Right.
times people come in and I don't know, maybe just, you know, as an example, like they maybe want to do maybe a pull up is a goal, right? And that's a great goal. It's going to be easier for some people to do that than other people.
Sure.
And so you're not going to tell a person that they can't work towards that goal, but maybe also help them build towards it in ways that are more appropriate for the person at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as opposed to just like, no, you can't do this.
Yeah. I mean, people want to know, they want to know how to do a push-up, right? They want to learn how to do a push-up. Well, everybody should learn how to do a push-up.
Mm.
Chin up is harder. A chin up is much harder than teaching someone how to do a push-up, right? And people are going to get the push-ups a lot faster. But there's no reason why you as a coach should point blank say, nope, sorry, can't do that. You won't be able to do that. You can't do that. There are so many ways to work around that, even though you know it might take a long time, right? It may take some time.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to help build that, like you said, empower that confidence in working towards something. And if the client is, you know, is truthful, realistic, they might say, I know, it's going to take a long time, you know, this and that. And you say, yes, it might take some time, but if you're consistent and we start here and we kind of experiment, then I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to be really surprised with what you're capable of doing. And that at least gives the person some, you know, hope, or, you know, kind of a feeling of, you know what, I just got to stick with this. If I can stick with this and I follow the program, I trust the process, I trust this, and and I experiment, like, I think if this might, you know, I might be able to do it. And sometimes that goal goes away. Something else takes over, you know, or they discover one day they just do it automatically. They don't even think about it. They're like, I wonder if I can do a chin up. And then there it is, you know, because they've just gotten stronger and they're more confident in what their bodies are doing, and they're willing to take a risk or take a chance on trying something that they tried a year ago and they couldn't do it, but now, wow, I'm so close to it. Just being that close to almost doing a chin up is exciting for people. Just being able to hang over a bar,
Mm.
is like, I didn't think I could do that. I had someone power curl the barbell up onto the J cups, right? Because she was like, how do I get this bar up here? She's in her late 60s. I said, power curl. She said, what? I said, power curl. So I kind of mimicked it, and she did it. And the smile that broke out on her face was like astonishing. She's like, I didn't think I could do that. I'm like, yeah, of course you can do that. Power curl. I mean, I'll teach you how to curl like regular curl later, but do that right now. Use your hips and throw that bar up, because just having that feeling of getting that bar up into her arms like that and using her bicep was like, I couldn't believe I just picked up 45 pounds and did that.
Mm.
I mean, it's, so that I think definitely when you're looking for somebody and you're looking to hire somebody, you need to be mindful about, you need to be realistic about obviously your goals and what you want, but you also want to find somebody who's going to help you be realistic, but in a way that is going to keep you engaged and thinking that you're moving in the right direction, not feeling that you need corrective exercises. That's
Yeah, I mean, somebody who's gonna help you feel
who's
engaged and motivated and positive
yes,
about what your body
yes,
can do
yes,
instead
yes,
of imposing limits on
yes,
you. No, you can't do this type of squat because of your knees, or I mean,
right,
let a person give it a try with correct form
right.
and see how it feels.
That's about it. I mean, there's no harm in you saying, okay, let's see. And you might be surprised yourself as a coach going, oh crap, I didn't think that person could do it, but they really could. And they're really surprised. But it's that putting limitations on people right away, right off the bat, and because you put the limitation on them because you yourself don't know how to teach that person how to do that correctly, but you won't admit that to yourself. And that's something, I mean, I'm not going to, I know what my limitations are, right? Someone wants to learn how to snatch a kettlebell, I'm not going to teach them. I'm going to ask Gretchen, because I'm
Yeah.
not going to pretend I know how to do it. I don't. I'm going to ask her. I can teach you how to swing a kettlebell. I can teach you how to do a goblet squat with a kettlebell, but I'm not going to teach you how to snatch or even clean a kettlebell. I'm going to give that to the person who knows really how to do that, because she's skilled. She's more skilled than I am. I'm not going to pretend. I think a lot of people pretend to know what they can do, and they make the other person feel bad about what they can't do. And it's not that. It's it's the trainer, or the quote unquote coach who's basically like, I don't know how to squat. But this person doesn't know that. So I'm just going to tell her that she needs to do this type of squat over and over again. And she needs a lot of corrective work before she can build up the muscle around her legs, is what she was told. I'm like, that is such BS. But she doesn't know that.
Mm.
And, but the person talking to her may not know it either. They think they're giving the right information, but really it's just that they're just trying to cover up the fact that they just don't know what they're talking about, I think. Um, and because it's easy to get a certification, right? I mean, you can take a test, anybody can take a test, but teaching someone how to move their body correctly is something different. And that means you stepping outside yourself and really looking at the person as an
Yeah.
individual and seeing what they can do and not what they can't do.
Yeah, and it's like it's not even just like teaching the form or knowing the form, or like you said, just taking a test and passing a test, getting a certification. It's you some a coach is a good coach is somebody who's watched thousands and thousands and thousands of squats and benches and deadlifts, and can see how your body is moving, like
Yeah.
somebody who is observing human movement and your body in particular and how it's completing that movement. And a lot of people, I guess, in a regular commercial gym maybe aren't paying that close of attention.
They're not. They're not. And I think it's like you said, it's because they haven't watched many people doing it, or they have, but they've been doing it incorrectly and they don't care. Because
Mhm.
because that's not what they became a trainer for. It was like, I don't know, easy money or easy hours, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you're
I
doing
mean, like,
somebody a
right.
disservice with,
Yeah. Oh, and like that's reminding me, like right now, my one of my twins was telling me she's playing soccer, and her um she's in her freshman year in college, and they're doing off-season strength training,
Mhm.
and they had been doing deadlifts, but trap bar deadlifts.
Okay.
They were doing deadlifts, and the strength coach just gave them the program, didn't really teach them
Oh,
anything about
sure.
how to do a deadlift. And I think there's a misperception that, oh, it's a trap bar deadlift, so you'll be fine, you won't get hurt, blah blah blah, whatever. um, a fair number of girls on the soccer team hurt their backs
Oh,
doing trap bar deadlifts. And those are, a lot more unstable than the conventional deadlift where you've got, it's coming from a dead stop pressed up against your shin. The trap bar kind of swings around, and
mhm.
these girls weren't taught about Valsalva or bracing or keeping a solid, neutral back,
Right.
any of that stuff. So Felicia's a lot more familiar with all of that because she has done barbell stuff with me before, and she has done conventional deadlifts, and
Absolutely.
she knew how to take what she had learned before and translate that into a trap bar deadlift.
Yeah.
um, so, now a couple weeks into this program, when a fair number of the girls on the team have gotten injured from the trap bar, the strength coach just decided instead, they were working up towards testing,
Mhm.
what was their,
Max.
heavy.
Yeah.
And, Felicia was excited to do that because she'd been working on it
Sure.
hard, and she had good form, and she was doing a good job with it. But the coach just said, we're not going to do that anymore because people are getting injured. And so, if, on the one hand, she was like, I'm glad that he sees that there was an issue and tries to address it instead of just stubbornly sticking with the program that he had laid out. But she's like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to testing and seeing like how strong I've gotten over this period of time. And now I don't have that opportunity anymore. So that's like kind of like what you're talking about when, if you're not paying attention, if you've got a coach or a trainer who's not paying attention to form,
Right.
um, and you know this team, then the ones that have been able to work towards that goal, now don't have that
Yeah,
opportunity.
and see the coach doing that, the coach just eliminating the lift isn't really solving the problem, right?
Just
Because
eliminate the problem.
yeah, he's just it's like putting a Band-Aid on something, right? You're actually not addressing why were these girls injuring themselves. Obviously, Felicia knows what she's doing. So, what was going on with it's not the exercise, it's how you perform the exercise. And right. And that's the big thing, right? People always say it's not the squat that hurts your knees, it's how you squat. It's not the deadlift,
Mhm.
it's how you deadlift. It's how you actually move your body, how you pick that object up, how you squat that object down, how you press that object. I mean, that's why people, in their daily lives hurt themselves more than they do in the gym where it's a controlled environment, but it's learning how to correctly move from the joint you're trying to move from, right? So imagine those girls were just bending over, yanking the bar up off the floor, and because they were told, okay, just step in there, grab it, bend your legs, grab the bar, and stand up. Well, that sounds great. I mean, yes, but many people, as you said, if Felicia could just transfer that right over from her conventional deadlift, it's not the same thing, but it's a variation on it. It's a variation on picking something up off the floor, slightly different position, more in keeping with if you had kettlebells and you were doing kind of like a suitcase deadlift, right? But the
Mhm.
same type of, but she understood how to brace, how to extend, how to, she understood back extension. You're not solving the problem by just eliminating that. People are getting hurt. Well, why are people getting hurt? Well, I don't know. It hurts people's backs. No, it doesn't. The whole point of the trap bar deadlift is actually doesn't work your back. So hurting your back in the trap bar deadlift, you got to be really doing something bad to hurt your back on that because the whole point is like it doesn't work your back. So that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
don't know, 'cause, like, I'm watching, and the thing is, like, the bar,
oh, it's
when
hard.
they put it back
It's
down, it wiggles, so
yeah.
you
There's
get
that
that
too.
wiggle in there,
There's
and
that
people
too,
are
but
tweaking their back.
it's not, that's the whole point. It's like you should, if you're going to trap bar deadlift, you should still do something for your hamstrings because there's no hamstring or back involved, honestly, with a trap bar. There's way more quads. That's why you can pick up a lot more than you can with, with a conventional. So yeah, so when you're looking to hire a coach, that's why I like it when people ask me questions. They're like, I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions about this. I'm like, no, I should be able to answer your questions. I should be able to address why this lift versus that lift. Why do we stand this way? Why do I want you to hold the bar this way? Why do I need your legs to be locked out? Why do I need to be, why you need to be holding your breath? Those are all important things for you to learn, not just the exercise and get on the program, but why you're doing this and why I want you to do this and why this is good for you. Right. So people asking questions, it's important, and don't just blindly walk into somewhere and because you don't know what you're gonna get. And that'll lead us into our, what to look for in a coach, or coaching styles when we get to that part. But I think in hiring a coach, you really need to be mindful about what program you're on and why are you hiring this person? For what reason? For what reason, and be mindful about, who this person has coached before. And you'd hope that you and me, I mean, I hope that what I'm giving people is good information. I think it is. I know it is, but I definitely like people when they question me, when they ask me questions. I like to be able to explain myself to them. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we did the whole discussion about asking your own why of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to expect the person that you're hiring to be able to answer those sorts of questions too.
Absolutely. So, when hiring a coach, so why hire a coach? So we talked about, obviously form and making sure that we're doing correct form. What are some other reasons why you should hire a coach aside from obviously technique and making sure that you're moving well and that you're not going to hurt yourself?
So it kind of parallels with what we talked about the last time about intention versus action and being realistic about your current situation, right? Sometimes it's difficult to be objective about, your own life and your own situation,
Right.
and what maybe some of the hurdles are that you have to overcome in order to get to the gym and be consistent. And so a coach is just um, another resource in a way,
Mm-hmm.
that's maybe a little more objective, or can help hold you accountable for what you're actually doing as opposed to what you intend to do. A person who can, ask you the why questions,
Right.
like, okay, you haven't made it to three of our scheduled sessions in the last month. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
How can we what changes can we make to
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
ensure that you are being consistent, or just kind of help you brainstorm ways to achieve your goals when life seems to be throwing a monkey wrench in the works for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I think about that. There's a meme that goes around every now and then. It's like, I think it's a picture of what's her name from Game of Thrones,
Oh,
um,
Daenerys.
Daenerys. And she's like this, and her face is all ragged, and she's like, I can't remember what part it's from, but there's like, something that says, single mother, works 3 jobs, has, 4 kids, and you're trying, and your program is, 5 days a week, 3 hours of cardio. Like be mindful of who you're working with,
Mhm.
like be mindful of your client. It's just like we talked about, you need to be realistic with your own schedule. The coach needs to be realistic with your schedule and understand that, yes, would I like all my clients to train 3 days a week? Sure. Of course I would. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them make even more progress, but that's not realistic for many of them. So my job is to tell them, you're going to do a great job and you're going to be successful if you can stick to twice a week. And that twice a week can be whatever you need to be. And if it has to be back to back twice a week, no problem. I'm never going to tell somebody, no, you can't do that. Unless they tell me I want to train Monday through Friday and then come in on Saturday also, then I'm going to say to them, sorry, that's a bad idea. And let me explain to you why it's a bad idea, right? But I'm not going to just say no. I'm going to explain to them why, and then they'll understand. But you yourself have to meet your client, as you said, halfway. You have to be realistic with them, along with them, and help them make good decisions and help them understand, their own, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, I guess, limitations, as far as
Yeah,
like,
schedule
there's
limitations
schedule
or
limitations.
life.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And not to beat them, I'm always telling people not to beat themselves up when they miss a session. Many people don't want to miss a session. I feel so bad. I said, don't feel bad. It's okay. This is life. It's all right. When you get in, can I do back-to-back days? Of course you can. We'll make it work. I'll help you. I'll help you figure out your program. It always works out. And the person feels good because they haven't missed. That's what a coach can do for you too. Right. That I think so those memes of, of that, I feel bad for those people who have people who like pound the crap out of their clients. And it's like, it's not sustainable. That's just not sustainable in the long run to constantly be, think like exercising. I mean, just who has that time?
Yeah. I mean, like you're
Celebrities have that
talking about,
time.
like, right. Yeah. Like, I mean, in an ideal world, you would not tell a person, come in and do the starting strength program 2 days back to back, because the starting strength program is designed to be, compound movements that
Right.
hits upper body, lower body, everything, right?
Right.
So you wouldn't have a person do that. But if that's what a person's schedule will allow, and they want to do 2 days and they want to do all four of those lifts, right? They want to
Mhm.
do their squat, bench, deadlift, and
Yes.
overhead press,
Yes.
and they can only do 2 days back to back, right? Like, what an individual out in the wild might decide is, okay, I'll do my A day and then my B day the following day, right? Squatting 2 days in a row, deadlifting 2 days in a row. Not great.
Right.
But a coach can help them sort of figure out, okay, well, this isn't an ideal situation, but let's make the best out of what you're able to do. And here's the way to make that work most optimally. So you're going to do squat and deadlift on this day, and you're going to do overhead and bench on this other day.
Yep.
And, just
Or
kind of figure out what works for that person,
exactly. Exactly.
given their limitations or their schedule situation or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think along those lines too, let's say the client they're like really crunched for time. And in the beginning, it might be okay, it's an hour, that the client's really doing, maybe not even an hour, but maybe it becomes, an hour and 15. And even still, like an hour and 15 is like pretty good, pretty legit for, doing 3 lifts, but they don't have that. But they have 4 days a week. Hey, but I can come
Yeah.
to the gym 4 days a week. Can I do a 4 day type of absolutely, right? Can you put that starting strength program and can you spread it out over 4 days? Yes, I can. I can do that for you. I mean, I would never, you should never turn away a client because you think that's not appropriate. That's not the program. That's not how it's supposed to be run. It's a 3 day a week program and you have to do all 3 lifts. And I never tell people that. In fact, I tell people, we're going to teach you 3 lifts. You do not have to do all 3 lifts every time you come in. If you can't, if you're pressed for time, most important is you come in, you train, and then you come back the next, when we can come back again the next, couple of days, whenever you can, or it's even the next day, that you're consistent and that you're compliant and that you're following at least the program that we have for you. And you're coming to me to help guide you if we need to make a change, adjustments. You're not just throwing everything out because, oh, I can't make it to the gym because I can't do all 3 lifts because
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to tell but you need to tell that person. The coach is the person who needs to inform you, I can make this work for you, because people
Because,
will
yeah,
definitely just
it's
go,
so much
well,
easier to just baby with the bathwater, throw the whole
exactly,
thing out. Glass is
exactly.
all full or all
And
empty.
that's where many people don't know what to do. And they just kind of go, well, guess I can't do anything. Instead of having somebody who can say to them, I can work with you on that. I can help you figure out how to, create a schedule. And you're like, really? Because people want black, they think that sometimes I think it's black and white. If I don't do this, I might as well not even. And that's like the furthest thing from the truth, right? But I think people want to be given permission to come back to back, given permission to skip their press because they don't have enough time, given permission. And it's like, of course you have permission. You're an adult with a life. And this is part of your life. This should not be your life, and I think that's a big thing too, right? This is a lifestyle change, and this should be a part of your life. And we need to make it fit into your life any way we can. And you will be successful and make progress if you give yourself that flexibility and you're aware of what you can and cannot do. But that's where a coach comes in to help you, right? That like you said, you figure out the why. Now you're at a place where you're doing it, but now you need someone else to kind of help guide you through those kind of murky waters. You've gotten
sometimes
past.
it's murky. Sometimes it's murky waters because like your, schedule or real life or
Right.
stuff gets in the way. And, how do you readjust or alter the program? Maybe you've got like a 6-week block laid out, but you weren't able to do, one of the lift days. So how do you adjust? How do you move forward? Do you just throw the whole thing out, or
Right.
And a coach can help you sort through some of that confusion.
Yeah.
Figure out how to adapt your program to whatever your real life is. And sometimes, like we've talked about before, if a person is sick or injured, the coach can help you figure out how to proceed, while allowing for necessary recovery, while allowing for necessary rest from an illness, how to come back from that.
Yeah. I think I have a couple online clients who they don't record their lifts for me. It's not actually, that's not what they hired me for. That's not what they have me for. I'm there to program them. I'm there to just, because they're still basically just trying to get their training in. So we're at the real basic level, just kind of like adding 5 pounds, adding this, doing the 3 lifts. And I am there just to make sure, like if they miss a week, I help them figure out what they should do the next time they're in. If they fail something, they'll say, hey, I got this. And I give them a guidance for what they should do the next time. So for those people, it's really just programming, but that's important to them because they don't want to have to worry about thinking that for themselves. They want me to help them figure that out. I've missed 2 weeks, Emily. Should I go back and repeat it? Yeah, do this, take 10%. I give them the permission to kind of mess around with their schedule as opposed to them trying to figure out how to do it themselves. They don't want to. They want to. It's one of my clients said, I leave my job where I have to do a lot of thinking for people. I don't want to come in here and do all the thinking. Right. They have to think enough just to put the weight on the bar and focus on their training. They want someone else to help them put together the program and help them figure out their warm-ups and help them kind of guide them through that process because it's, they like it, but they don't want to have to, they want to make sure they're doing it right and that they're doing it well and that what they have makes sense on the paper. So, sometimes it's just programming. Sometimes it's just helping the person kind of guide them through their training. And then when they do come to a place where they need a form check, then, of course it's easy to do. So lots of different reasons to hire a coach. And also as a coach, it's never a good idea to coach yourself. I finally figured that out and I have a coach who programs me. And that is wonderful.
You've got a gym full of people to choose from.
I know. And Jay's doing my programming now. And of course I went back and forth with Jay yesterday going, are you sure? Are you sure about those numbers? I don't know about those numbers. I don't think I can do that. And then of course I did it just fine. I went, okay, I'll never doubt you ever again. And I'll never doubt myself. That's a lot of volume, but it's, you have to, it's not that I didn't trust him. I wasn't trusting myself. So I was trying to get permission from him to do less because I didn't trust myself. It wasn't him. I didn't trust that he believed I could. I didn't think I could. So and then I realized after I completed the list, I was like, okay, he was right. I was wrong. So, we all need people to kind of help us and guide us and get us through those, like I said, the murky waters of programming. That's really the biggest thing, right? I think the technique eventually comes and people don't worry about that too much. It now becomes, how do I freaking handle this program? Where do I go from here? The weight's not moving, or this seems off, or now what do I do? And that's when people kind of throw their hands up and just what do? They just go all the way back to the beginning. And they repeat that, they do that hamster wheel of this, it will go around and around and around, which constantly repeating over and over again, because they don't have somebody who can say, you need to stop that. And we need to try something different. And here's what we can do for you, So that's where, having somebody come in like a coach to kind of help guide you in that direction will make a difference in how you continue to train, because some people just decide it's just not working for them and stop.
Yeah. There's a lot of all or nothing thinking out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I tried, that's a big thing. We try to kind of, put the kibosh on at the gym is like, no. There's this program is not set in stone. It can be changed, and it could, but in a smart way, like in a smart way, in a mindful way, not just,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you're saying, you're describing what Jay did for you. And
Right.
then also this, so like in that case, sometimes the coach needs to be a little bit more rigid. No, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
This is what you can do.
Yeah.
Stop giving me excuses.
Right.
And sometimes the coach needs to be like, okay, listen, this is your real life, and this is how your lifts are fitting in right now, and this is the best way forward. So kind of finding what you're able to do, and giving you permission to let some stuff out of your program. It's having, like we've said before, like another objective set of eyes on what you're doing and how that's working for you to help you evaluate. Because when you're the lifter, it's always going to feel heavy. You are always going to feel like, oh, maybe this is too heavy. I don't know if I can do, well, maybe, I mean, at least I do. Not to say everybody feels that way. If you're a lifter like me. But, to have somebody give you another objective perspective and another set of data points for feedback to sort of evaluate how to proceed, change course or stick to the course.
Yeah.
When you're the lifter, it's always going to feel heavy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, especially when you're doing sets of 10, like, what I'm doing. So, I mean, I have, I'm doing sets of 10.
Remind me not to ask Jay to put my program together.
Right. Yeah. So everybody put their, you don't want to listen to this, but this is blasphemy to you. I'm doing sets of 10 for my squat and my deadlift. And for a lot of things too, press and bench. And I looked at these numbers, and Jay was like, yeah, I know a 30-pound jump is a big jump. I'm like, what the hell is your problem? Like, I can't believe. And then I did, and I was like, oh God, he was right. This is kind of easy. I definitely can do more, but I didn't believe that. I didn't trust. And he gave me the data points. He said, well, this is 10% off of this, and it's 70% of your 1 rep max. And I'm like, oh God, it's like numbers in there. You got it all figured out. And I'm just going, oh no. So it's good to have someone kind of, be very open and also be very flexible with you, because he's wonderful like that, right? He didn't say to me, shut up, Emily, and just do what I told you to do. He said, okay. He said, okay, all right, fine. And then I figured out for myself. And he said, oh God, because he said, thank goodness I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, no, you're not going crazy. You were spot on. I didn't trust myself. Now, part of that is that over the weekend, my left side was talking to me. So I must have moved funny. So of course my brain's going, oh crap, what am I going to do? Am I going to be able to squat? And then I look at my program, I'm like, oh crap, he's got me doing what? He's going to be out of his mind. Ain't no way I'm going to do that. And that was just because I didn't trust myself. And the minute I started squatting, everything felt really good. But then by that point, I was already at to set 3. I'm like, well, I'll do 4 sets. And that'll make up for the fact that I dropped 10 pounds off of both of these lifts. And then I looked back and realized I only had to do 3 sets. In my mind, it was 4 sets. I was all off yesterday, and I blame the rain. I blame the rain for everything that's happened this week since Monday.
Yeah.
Because
because of the rain. And actually, I don't know what it's like at your house now, but we got another thunderstorm rolling in.
Yeah.
Which my dog has just realized, and she's now down here like shaking next to me.
Oh.
So.
She's been quiet.
I'm gonna need to go before she starts whining.
I was gonna say she's gonna start to. Oh, I hear that. I hear that. Oh, it is. So it's probably coming my way.
Yeah.
It's probably coming my way. So those are our thoughts.
And I think we kind of covered.
We did. No, we did. I was going to say, those are our thoughts about why you hire a coach, what a coach can do for you. Be mindful, and this kind of goes along with the next one. Be mindful of the kind of coach you are hiring, right? Don't.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to really, want to know the why, because this person's supposed to be there to guide you and help you. Definitely feel free to ask us any questions you have or leave any comments with us. Email us, Emily@5by3.com. You can also email Rebecca at
cornerstonestrengthmaryland@gmail.com.
We both love to hear from you, and drop us a line, send us your comments, and we'll be back in a couple weeks with our final part 4, about okay, you've got a coach, you've got your coach, or you're looking to get a coach. What should you look for? What should you look for in a coach? Woo! And there's the thunder coming from Rebecca. Down there in Millersville. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Rebecca. We'll see everybody in a couple weeks, and stay safe out there. And if you're in a rainy area, try to stay dry.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye, Rebecca.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for listening to 5x3 Radio with Emily and Rebecca. If you like our show and want to know more about 5x3 training, please visit us at www.5, that's F-I-V-E, the letter X, the number 3.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. To learn more about Rebecca, please visit her website, cornerstonestrengthmaryland.com. Thanks for listening and have a great week.